everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Backstage Spotlight. And today I have the fabulous Laine.
Hey.
Welcome, Laine. For those of you who don't know you, would you like to do a brief little, this is my name, this is where I trained, and this is what I do?
Sure. So my name is Nene. I trained and graduated from Lanes in 2023. I previously trained at ArtSet, graduated in 2017, and I am currently in the UK tour of Aladdin. Woo!
Yay! And how's it going?
Oh my gosh, it's amazing. Like I remember part of you'll know this, part of like the one of the third year things we've got to do is you've got to do like your dream roles and your dream shows, which is part
Yeah,
of contextual studies. And I remember putting Disney's Aladdin on there, and now that I actually get to do it, it's just mad, it's just mental. And I
that is
remember it was like one of the last thing I did. I was like, oh, now I'm going to do my dream roles because it's like the less taxing things out of all the things you've got to do out of all the modules. So I was like, let me save the best till last, and then I did it. And then a couple of months later I got the job, and I was like, the word is mad, the world is absolutely crazy, and I'm living my best life.
like a full circle moment.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's touring the UK at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, indeed. We just finished our first venue in Edinburgh, which was amazing. I'm from Belgium originally, so I've never really got to like travel around the UK. So this was my first time in Scotland, my first time up there. It's going to be my first time in loads of venues that we get to travel. So I'm just, like over the moon, so excited.
Yeah, that's so exciting. And when you're at the venues, do you have much time to explore, to like visit the city that you're in?
So initially, no, because our first venue, we literally still had rehearsals during the day,
Mm.
previews, which meant we'd come in during the day, do a few changes, and then do the performance that evening. And then once the show got started, they started to do understudies and swing rehearsals and covers. And
Wow.
I'm Genie. I'm the second cover Genie, which means that I still have rehearsals during the day and then perform during the evening, which can sometimes be so confusing, but it's great. But now that we've sort of sorted that out, once we're in our next venue, which will be Cardiff, I'll have loads of time during the day, and I can just do what I want.
Great. Have you been on as Genie yet?
I've not. I've had a few rehearsals there and there, and like on stage, and with costumes and everything. It's so magical, and I literally sit there and just think, this is my job. This is what I get to do. It's crazy that I get paid to do this. Like it's insane, insane.
Yeah, it must be like you must be just waking up every day like I cannot believe I'm going on to do like Aladdin. Like that is
Yeah.
so cool.
It really is. There's a really special moment in the show where the whole cast is in a line on stage, and we literally just stand there and do nothing. And it's a canon bit, so and I'm one of the first, so I literally have a full eight where I do nothing and I just look. And Edinburgh was huge, 3,000
Yeah.
people in the country, and I just look and
Wow.
it like, oh my gosh, I'm so blessed. I'm so grateful. It's great. It's amazing.
That is so cool. And before you did Aladdin, you had previous experience performing before you like after you left college. Do you want
Yeah, so
to say like what shows you did as soon as you left college?
So the first show that I did, which I had to leave slightly early for, was Regent's Park Open Air, and it was again one of my favorite musicals. It's Once in This Island, and I
Wow.
remember as soon as I heard the previous year that it was coming out, I was like, I need an audition for it. I don't know what, and I spoke to the school agent. I said, I don't know what you need to do, who you need to call, but I need to be seen for it. And then I did that, and I was a swing in it, which was invaluable experience, and I would love
Yeah.
to swing another show again with all the experience that I learned, because you sort of get thrown in the deep end, and I'm like, okay, now I really know what I'm doing. I want to have another go at it. But yeah, it was great. And then after that, I did Hairspray, which again, I keep saying it, but it actually is. I can actually show you. It's like a list of my top 10 dream roles and dream shows, and Hairspray was in it, and playing Seaweed, so singing amazing songs 8 times a week, sometimes 9 times a week. And then yeah, I had a 2 week break, and then straight onto Aladdin. So
Wow, you have been so busy.
Yeah, it's
You have
been crazy.
actually been so busy. Going back to Once on This Island, it was in Regent's Park Open Air Theatre. I visited there and it actually is like all open air, like the backstage, like the wings, like it's actually in the forest.
Yeah,
Like, how
yeah.
did you find doing that? And like, what would happen if it rained or if like nature took over? Like, what would
So,
happen?
I mean, it's really crazy because, as you say, it's you're literally out there, and because it's like in the middle of Regent's Park, it like the closest street is like a 15-minute walk, and you're like, how am I in the middle of London right now?
Yeah.
Like, how does that work? But anyway, it we luckily had no rain during any of the shows,
Oh,
which I can't
that's so
believe
good.
because the show is 4 weeks long, 30 days to be exact, and we had no rain. And I mean, like if you're from London, you know that's not a thing. I don't know how that happened, but it happened. But the tech was terrible. The tech was awful. It
Oh,
rained like it never rained. Like it was absolutely crazy. It was drenched. So we delayed one of the previews because we just couldn't open in time. But we our press night and everything else was on time and everything. And as I
good.
say, we had no rain. But I know that the show right afterwards had loads of um uh show stops because of rain. And I also know that last year, Legally Blonde, because the weather in England is so weird, they had when it rains, you have a show stop so that you can dry the stage. And apparently they had two show stops. One because it rained too much, so they had to, dry the stage and come out with mops. And then the second one, because it was too hot, because the sun was literally blazing
Both
up. I was
extremes.
like, only in England, only in England, only in London. It's absolutely crazy. But they're really chill about it. We have like lights everywhere rigged around the theatre, so and then stage managers dotted around everywhere, hidden literally behind a tree,
Yeah.
and, and going, no, we're carrying on, or we're stopping, or whatever. So yeah, you have to roll with it, and
Yeah.
actually, it brings another atmosphere or whatever to a vibe to the
Yeah.
show. And I think they're also really clever with picking shows that would work if it did just
Mm.
randomly rain. So yeah, it was great.
They once did Into the Woods
Yeah.
and I saw the video of it and because you are like outside, like in the nature, that must be a really good one to watch at Regent's Park, I think.
Yeah, and both Into the Woods and Once on This Island, like they're kind of like set literally in the woods and in
Mm.
nature, and so they do a really good job at like not doing a normal proscenium stage. That they have people coming
Yeah,
out behind bushes and behind trees, and oh my gosh, and
it's so
like
clever.
video tree, and it's really really clever the way they do it. And they always have amazing teams working on it. Like I remember I went just before I started the day before I started rehearsals for Once in This Island. It was the Olivier's, and I went to it, and I think I then saw about three people who won or who were nominated for an Olivier the day afterwards. So you really get the peak
Wow.
of
Yeah.
theatre working there, and they really use their craft, and it's amazing, and it's so great because everyone that I spoke to, um, especially tech wise, they're like, it's a great challenge. It's different. It's not like regular theatre because obviously we're outside and we have so many other components to deal with and
Yeah.
to connect with. So yeah, it's really cool. It's really charming.
Yeah. And Hairspray's at Kilworth House, wasn't it?
Yes, indeed. And that's also I did a season outside, I say. It's also
Yeah.
open air theatre. The only difference is that there is a sort of a tent over it. So if it does
Yeah.
rain, you're not rained on. However, it was just because of the size of Hairspray and because of just the sheer amount of number you need. The stage was massive, and so it fell outside of the tent bit.
Oh,
So
so
the
some of it would get wet.
yeah, so the sides which is literally where we came in and from, were wet, which meant that when it did rain heavily, throughout after half an hour of you going in and out of stage, on and off stage, the floor would just get wet. So we did have
Oh,
show stops at that show
yeah.
quite a few times. It's so funny because like you want to do You Can't Stop the Beat and you want to do all these amazing songs and you want to just
Yeah.
perform out, but you're like, oh, I just slipped. Oh, I'm on the floor. I get back up. Carry on, big smile, and the audience is just so behind you because they're like, they know, they get it, they can
Yeah,
see
exactly.
we're all in the same vicinity, but it's really funny. It's such a thrill.
What was your favourite number to perform in Hairspray?
Do you know what? I think Welcome to the 60s, because I was
Yeah.
just it was a number where I didn't have any responsibilities. I was just an ensemble member and I could just perform and be out there and I can sing my top tenor line and be in the background and support everybody else. Whereas like other songs, I either had they were either my song or I had a solo part in it. So I was like worrying about that and hopefully it comes
Yeah.
out, hopefully I don't slip or whatever. So but yeah, Welcome to the 60s, it is such a bob. And we had three of the best dynamites with the best vocals. And whenever they did, the end, welcome to the 60s, you're supposed to be us, yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
day was I was how'd you do that? So yeah,
Yeah.
that
You probably just
was
stood on stage like, "How am I, like, doing this
no,
right?"
literally.
So cool.
Literally. And the really funny thing about these two things as well, that both Regent's Park and Hairspray, is you can see obviously the audience
Yeah.
so well. You can see the people taking their phones out, but they're right in front of you, and it's daylight, or even if when it was night, because it's an open air, so you can just really see them and you see exactly what's going on behind those eyes, and how emotionally invested they are with the story and with you,
Yeah.
and all of that. So that's also, it adds more.
Yeah, I bet that's nice. So how have you found going from that performance environment to going into, like, touring theatres, like, theatres around the UK now?
So the biggest thing is obviously their actual established theaters, and their and also because it's Disney, and because of the size of the production, we do some of the biggest theaters in the UK.
Yeah.
So obviously with the Edinburgh, which is one of the, I think, top three biggest theaters in the UK. The next one is the biggest theater, so it's like
Oh,
the
goodness.
size is huge. But like I say, we can only really see the front, maybe 3 rows or 4 rows,
Yeah.
because everything else is just like a big space, but you can't see people, which sometimes is better because it can be daunting, especially if people are bored, which they really rarely are. And I think that the biggest difference is also now that working, you can tell the difference between working for these sorts of production companies and then Disney, who really have a brand and they have a name, and it's been established for
Yeah.
100 years now, and they're really so precise and pointing as to what they want and what they need, and it's the infrastructure is massive, it's
Is
huge,
it?
and it's very, very American, in that everything is sorted, everything is thought of, everything is calculated to the T, and that translate on every aspect, on stage, off stage. The way they take care of you is immaculate. I've never been taken care
Wow.
of and valued like that. And then also on stage as well, it's like, you stand on number 8 and you deliver that line like this, and then you have to go there and you have to do it
Yeah.
like this, and it's so specific, and it's not a controlling thing, it's just because they have found the perfect formula. Why would you do anything else?
Yeah.
Like, this is the way it works. If you want the laugh, you say it like this and you'll get the laugh, and you may try, and you just don't get the laugh, and you're like, well, yeah, okay, I'm going to do what I've been taught, because they've literally been doing it for however many years. It's tried and tested, and yeah, so there's that
Yeah.
difference.
It must be so special to be a part of that, like,
Yeah.
part of something that's been going on for such a while. And also for audiences, Aladdin is like a film that they will have watched, like, since they were younger, so seeing it in the
Exactly.
theatre live, like, bringing their children to it, it must be such a good selling show.
Yeah, it's amazing. And then people are just so, like you said, people have grown up with it, so you see the amount of people who are dressed, and not even just children, adults as well, who are dressed as Aladdin and Jasmine, and all these characters. You forget how much impact Disney's had on so many people's
Yeah.
lives, and how pertinent it may be to their lives. And they show that, and they really value you and value your work, because it means so much to them. And then like you said, their children might have not been brought up with it, because obviously, especially the animation came out in 92, but they really, the parents transmit that love and that care for Disney and for that era to their children. It's gorgeous, it's beautiful to see.
Yeah, it's so nice. Going back to your college days, you mentioned that you left early with your first job. I wanted to ask you, like, how you found your audition experiences, and when in your third year you started auditioning um, for like a job to leave college?
So my first audition, which was in September 2022, late September,
So the very start of your third year.
very start, like literally hit the road running. And
Wow,
third year is just really busy as well in terms
so
of your
busy.
in schools. Just, everything is, we're doing this, now we're doing this, and then third year musical, and then this project and this, as
Yeah.
as you find out.
Yeah.
Exactly. And my first audition was for Hamilton.
Yes.
I've always been desperate for, and I remember they sent, I think, because the way they work is they would just audition people. Most auditions they'll say we're looking for this character and they need to be this and this height and they need to be able to sing this and this, and
Mm.
here's one song for them. But that's not how Hamilton works. They just want to see what you can do, so they give you the whole pack. So I
Yeah.
think I had like 9 songs to learn. Some of them had multiple parts, some of them had multiple harmonies, and they were just like, yeah, come in. And you're in for 15 minutes, so obviously you don't do it's 2 hours worth of material. You obviously
Yeah.
don't do, you need to know it because you have no idea where it could go. And when it comes to preparedness, Laine does an amazing job at
Yeah, they
preparing you
both do.
because of the amount of well, just audition classes. I remember we have audition class with Lucy Spencers, with Miss Laine, with Matt Call, with all these amazing people who are so good at keeping you on your toes.
Yeah.
And especially with the three aforementioned people, I've always said they teach you so that when you come into the real world and real life auditions, you find them so easy because of how much they push you.
Yeah.
They don't train you to the industry. They train you
Beyond
far
it.
beyond the industry, so that
Yeah.
so that when you're in real life situations and in auditions, you're like, oh, this is only a fraction of what I was put through and what I had to do.
Mm.
So I'm actually, so even though I wasn't there, sometimes I am so grateful for that, because I can really honestly say, hand on heart, that I've not had an audition where I thought, oh my God. Obviously, there's been times I was like, this is a lot, but it was mainly because I was doing either multiple auditions as well as schoolwork at the same
Yeah.
time. But the audition with themselves, I've always been really prepared for, and I found them easy because of what I've just explained. But anyway, so yeah, Hamilton did loads, had loads to learn and loads to contend with, and you just sort of go in and you really, really have to trust that if you're there and if you've been asked to, they don't ask anybody to come in.
Yeah.
If
Like the
you're
process of picking who's in the room is so rigorous in the
so
first
big,
place.
because especially for shows like Hamilton, where they get between 5,000 to 10,000 submission on Spotlight alone, and then people then email them individually. Like they get tons and tons of submission, and they'll probably see about 500 people, and that process is super rigorous. So so I just have to trust that I've been seen and I'm going in there for a reason, because they obviously saw something in my profile, whatever, that they liked, and then they thought there'd be potential, because they don't want to waste their time. So I just have to trust that, and have to, as long as I know what I'm doing and I'm prepared, then you just go for it, and you just sort of fly. And it was, Hamilton was, out of all the auditions I did, or I've done of thus, was probably one of the best, because of how much they really care about the material and how much they really care about the artist as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was really special.
Nice. And from doing auditions like that, have you found something since leaving college that you wish you knew sooner, or like something you could tell people that are still in college to look out for or to prepare for, that you didn't necessarily think of, or you weren't made aware of when you were in college, that you now think, oh, I wish I knew that sooner?
I think it's two things, that, and I guess I heard it, but I didn't hear it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And that is, you really have no idea what's going on in their heads, so you just don't
Yeah.
try to guess it. And I really mean that. I'm not just saying that because I'm trying to, like, you don't know. You may
Mm.
get to an audition and they'll see you do something for 2 seconds, and in their head that may just mean, yeah, I've seen what I needed, that's all, don't need anything else. And so you feel dismissed, but actually it's because you've shown them
Yeah.
what they need to see, and they're ready for the next step. Equally, on the other hand, if you get pushed and pushed and pushed and people keep giving you corrections, sometimes I'm like, oh, well, clearly I got the most notes that day, so clearly they don't want me. Well, no, they saw something in you, because, which is why they're investing in you, and they're
Yeah, and
trying to,
seeing how much they can get you to do.
exactly, yeah. And then there's so many other things to factor in after speaking to casting directors who said, we so wanted you, but the person who we offered, who would be your opposite, said no. So we had to go with that second
Oh,
person, and you don't fit that second
yeah,
person. So we can't offer you the job. And it's like, oh, so it wasn't because I wasn't good enough. It's literally
yeah.
because the partnering wouldn't work. Okay, great. Good to know that I would do it, that I was also your first choice. There was just so many things. So like, you have to do that thing of, you come in, you do your absolute best, and as soon as you leave, you it has to go out of your
Yeah.
head, and you just can't think about it. And then the second thing is just, and anything that's within your control, make sure that you've prepared it and you know it inside out. If it's material that you've been given, make sure you know it inside out.
Mhm.
If it's yeah, whatever, a dance or whatever, if you know you're going to redo a dance in a, you know, future round, make sure you've gone over it so that you're really comfortable with it. Yeah. Oh, and the third thing, actually, there is a third thing, is do as much research on the panel as possible in terms of who they
Yeah,
are, what they do. And nowadays it's actually really, really easy to just like quick Google search and see who's involved in what capacity. And
yeah,
if it's not available, then literally ask the run. It's part of me. Every the runners, every
yeah,
audition has runners which work with the casting production company, so they'll know, and just ask them, oh, by the way, who's this? Oh, that's so and so. They're the associate or they're the director or whatever, and it just really puts things at ease and helps you.
And there's that thing as well about everyone talks to everyone. So like the runners will feed back to the panel, and it's just about like communicating like your best front with everyone,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
not like not being rude to the door people, not being rude to the people who sign you in. It's just like
Yeah.
presenting yourself in a way that like that's true to you and that you want to be like seen as.
I've done an audition as well where the runners were part of the uh creative team, because the runner that they can make it, and so they were like, oh, I'll do it, I find it fun, I used to do it like
Yeah,
20 years or whatever, so I'll do it. And actually when you look it up, they're like, oh damn, they're the associate, and they'll be running all the rehearsals and everything with me if I get
yeah,
the job. So you really know, you don't know who they are, you don't know who
exactly.
they're maybe, you don't know who they'll become. And even if they are just the runner, then they do have that, obviously, that relationship with all the people who are needed to give you the job, so there will feedback and they will do all of that, as you say.
Yeah, like you never know who you're talking to.
Mm.
Going back to the first thing you said, about not knowing what's in their heads, I remember Matt Cole said to us once in audition class that when he was casting for Newsies, he has like tracks in the show that are particularly like singer dancer, um actor, singer, just a dancer track, and that in that audition he is plotting who's going to go into what track. Because like people would leave and think like, oh well, I could do more pirouettes than that person, but like he's not looking at a specifically
Yeah.
like just the great dancers in the room. He's looking at who could complement his ensemble in the best way possible. And it's just things like that that make people think that's so true. Like you do not know what the casting is and what they want and what they're looking for. And it can come down to the height, hair color, as you said, like not matching your opposite. And it's so important for people to know that it's not, it's
Also,
a personal
this
thing as well.
exactly, and then the last thing in terms of matching, and this is very American, because in America, when you get a job, you don't get a land contract, you just get the job, and then you leave when you want to leave. So you could
Oh
do the
wow.
job for like 3 years, and then you can be like, okay, I'm going to leave, but you could also do it for like, I don't know, an odd number of months, and be like,
Mm,
okay, you have to give 4 weeks, which means, and we've started to slightly do this, not as much as them because they've got it throughout. But the thing about that is when you audition for an exact spot. And for example, Aladdin alone, I know that for you to come in, just costume alone, they would have to spend £250,000 on costumes, on somebody new, because it's like new everything, just
yeah.
costume. and you have to redo your wigs and everything. So if I can find somebody who was exactly your build, exactly, you know,
Exactly, yeah.
your cast type, then it's great because then I can just pop them in your costumes, maybe a few alterations, but I don't have to spend $250,000 dollars. And it's the same, like again in Aladdin, we've just had one of the girls has injured herself, which mean that she'll be off for a
Oh,
while. And so not to put strain on the swing so that they don't have to always be on for her, they've decided to bring somebody on just for that period of time while
yeah.
she gets better. And that's exactly what they had to do. They had to pick somebody who was exactly within her build, even though she's amazing, she's great, but I don't know whether she was the best in the audition or whatever. So
Yeah,
it's just really that you can't do that.
exactly. Yeah.
Say it, you just can't. So
Yeah. It's so good to talk about it because people, especially when you're new to it, you just think you've been turned away because of your talent, and it's just not that.
yeah, no,
Looking after yourself, like in a well-being way in the industry is so important, and knowing things like this just helps you have like a rational mindset about it. And I think that's just so important.
very that.
Right. I've got an Aladdin pop quiz
Oh,
to test you on how much you know of Aladdin. Do you think your general knowledge of Aladdin is quite good?
I would hope so. I mean, it depends. Usually, I beat my cast with these kind of things, but
We'll
I
see.
it goes two ways, isn't it?
We've got about 10 questions. So,
Okay, okay, here we go.
first one. Where does Aladdin take place?
Oh, Agrabah.
Perfect. Spot on. 1 point. Who voiced the genie in the original version of Aladdin?
Oh, Mr. Williams, as we have to refer to him. We've got
Yes.
a couple cut out of him everywhere we go, which is really cute.
Oh,
And
that's so
then
sweet.
sweet, but then it's really funny because one day I just came in and somebody put him on the door, and they gave him so we all have to wear badges with our name, and they
Yeah.
gave him a visitor badge, and I just howled
Oh,
for
that is
yeah.
hilarious. Oh,
So-
at Christmas, bring get a Santa hat and put it on.
oh, that's such a good idea. Yes, I'll do that.
Do that. Or tinsel or something. You've got to do that.
Yeah, that's such a good idea. I'll do
Oh,
that.
that's so nice that you do that. That's really lovely. Right, next question. What is the name of Jasmine's pet tiger?
Oh gosh, he's not in the oh, he's not in the musical. Oh, does it finish with an O?
No.
I'm gonna murder myself. I can't believe this. I
I'll
just
let you off if it's not in the musical.
oh, I should know this though. Okay, give me the first, give me a clue, give me like the first
The
letter.
first letter is an R.
Oh, that's not where I was going at all. Ah, no, I don't know. Tell me.
It says here Raja.
Oh, it is. Oh,
Does that ring a bell?
yeah, I'm gonna call Disney and tell them that they can deduct money for my pay.
You should get this one. What is Jafar's royal title?
Oh, Royal Vizier.
Yes. So what are you on? 4? 4 points?
Yeah.
What is the name of Aladdin's monkey?
Oh, Abu.
Yes. You said this earlier because I was thinking, in what year was the original Disney film released?
Oh, 92.
Yes. What is Jafar's parrot called?
Yago.
Yes. What does Aladdin call himself when he enters the city?
Oh, Prince Ali.
Yes. That's such a good song. Is it a good
So
number?
oh my god, yeah. The only thing that's a shame with it is so this version of the tour is I think shortened by like half an hour. Don't know how they did it, but they did it.
Yeah.
So I know that like in I just saw on Broadway and that's like 5 minutes and we do it in like I want to say just under 3 minutes. So a
Oh,
lot of it's
they've
cut.
cut a bit out. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's still great. It's so much fun, and I have a solo in that, and it's the best bit.
That's
Well,
so
for
good.
me to do so, I love it.
Just a quick diversion. When you're touring, what's it like with all the set and everything? Like, what's the get out and get in of the theatres? Like, is it mental?
It is. Oh my! I couldn't believe it. So we have like a literal ritual. As soon as so we do our bows, and as soon as the curtains go off, the whole cast go, oh, at the end of every show in a circle, and it's really cute. Tell me why Curtain got shot. We got together, and the stage manager goes, "Get off stage, get off stage," and we all go off. We're like, "Oh, we didn't do it," so we leave. I'm a really quick change. That's like my thing. I go off. I take off all my stuff, and half of the set's gone by the time I go back on stage. I'm like, "How did they do that?"
That's
They do
so
not.
quick.
I then went upstairs to get fully changed and took makeup off and everything, and took my stuff, came back downstairs, and this like half of the stage is gone. But we're talking like huge set pieces that requires a forklift to lift. I don't know how to do it, but it's so impressive. Like
That is
there's a team
crazy.
of like dozens and dozens of techies and crews who are at it and they know what they're doing, and it's so like that's what I mean as well. Is that whole Disney thing that they're so like we got to
On
get
it.
this done, we've got to get this done. It's really impressive.
Wow, that's so cool. Who sings the song "Friend Like Me"?
Oh, Mr. Genie,
Mr. Genie.
does
And
he sing?
that's pardon, go on. Sorry, I
And I said,
interrupted.
and does he sing it?
Oh yeah, what a good song. And last but not least, why should people come and see the Aladdin tour?
Oh, girl. Okay. So it's a family show. Everyone can enjoy it. There's jokes for everybody. Um, it's a visual extravaganza, and I mean that in every sense of the way. In the magic, people always think about the carpet, but there's magic throughout the show, and it's really cool to see. The set is set galore, it's setting, and the costumes are just insane. As I said, for the ensemble members, we're looking between 100K to 250K per person, and
Wow.
the costume do reflect that.
Yeah.
I remember, so you may not know this, but I originally got cast in the show as Babcat, and then the director came in, saw us do a run of Act One from Broadway, and then he was like, "It's not working, you guys. We need to change things over." And so me and my friend Nelson had to swap, and I'm now playing Kasim, and
Oh,
he's playing Babcat. But obviously, by that point, all our costumes were pretty much done and made,
oh,
especially shoes. And so when they found out that we were swapping, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money and time and effort. So so yeah, in visual extravaganza, and there's something in it for everybody. There's great timeless songs, an amazing band, live band, obviously, and Nene's in it, I heard.
and Nene's in it. That's the best reason. Oh, I'm definitely going to try and catch it when it comes nearby. I can't
Yes.
wait. Can't wait to see you in it as well.
Oh, great. Quick question. Do you know what you're doing for your third year show yet?
Company.
You're in company.
Yes.
Congratulations. Oh my gosh.
I'm
I
so
can't wait.
excited.
I
Are you going
cannot
to
wait.
come?
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, I can't
Yeah.
wait. Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. Congratulations.
Thank you. We're doing it at the beginning of February, so
Oh, lush, lush,
it'll
lush.
be exciting. And last but not least, you have to nominate someone to come on the podcast next.
Oh,
Someone in the industry. It can be someone who's performing, someone's directing. It could be anyone in the industry
you
to
know
come
what?
on
Somebody
the
who you'll
podcast.
have an absolute hoot with, and who's my business partner in everything I do, who I absolutely adore, and who's an absolute genius, is the one and only Jack Palmer.
Jack Palmer. Oh
Yeah,
yeah, let's get him on. We'll
yeah, you
get.
have to. He'll be a hoot.
Thank you so much for joining me. I've absolutely loved talking to you. And everyone listening or watching, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube and give the Spotify podcast a 5-star review. And we'll see you in the next episode. Thank you, Nene.
Thank you. Have a good one.